Booktube, how are you? It's so good to see you this evening. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to do a bit of a reading wrap up for the last 30 days, actually. It's been a kind of a slow month for me, a busy month. We did a little bit of traveling, so I only got 4 books read, history and a little bit of current affairs. But some good ones, so stick with me on this one and we'll just get started right away. So I'm going to go in order of how I read them. And the first one that I read that I want to talk about is The Last Days of the Incas by Kim McCory. As the title suggests, this is all about the conflict between the Spaniards, the Spanish conquistadors, Pizarro, led by Francisco Pizarro, and the last of the Incan empires. And so that was the main subject of the book, but it also had it was actually really cool because it also had this sort of wraparound story that was all about the discovery by, American Europeans or whatever, mostly Americans, of sort of lost, or cities of the Incas that had been lost in time and sort of taken back by the jungle or forgotten about, except for, all but the fewest of locals. So that kind of bookended the big history of the actual conflict and the conquest of what's now sort of Peru, and also north and south, little east, I guess, of Peru. So really found it quite interesting. I am really interested in the history of indigenous native peoples of the Americas and the conquest and settlement and the conflict. It's a fascinating history, and I always encourage people to sort of check that stuff out because it is pretty good. And one of the things that's so interesting about this is that you get a lot of sense of the motivations of the Spaniards, motivations of the Incas, some of their religion, their culture, how the Incan Empire expanded so quickly and sort of conquered in a very imperialistic way local tribes. And then, a lot of the military or the battles between the two sides and all the stuff that happened. It was just really cool. It was super interesting reading about the Incas. One of the things that I thought was really cool is the Incan emperors actually used, their military generals created clay models of the potential landscape or location of battles, set piece battles basically, and they would use clay and they would create a full sort of 3D map of the location where the battle was expected to occur, just so that they could plan the strategy of the conflict. But tons of cool stuff. Surprisingly good read. I think this is at least 10 years old now, but it was fantastic. I highly recommend this one. Really liked it. And I'll be looking for more on sort of Incas, Aztecs, all that kind of Central South, Mesoamerica and South America. So super good book. Moving on to the next one that I read in the month was The Savage Storm, The Battle for Italy, 1943 by James Holland. I believe James is the brother of Tom, who we all know from our shared interest in ancient history. But this is all about the initial invasion of Italy by the Allied armies from Sicily to the Italian, the actual mainland, and which was in September 1943, and then it covers the period up to the end of December 1943. And basically the Allied armies fought their way up to the Gustav Line, and it was brutal fighting. I was surprised because I kind of generally know about the Italian campaign, but not that much. Vicious fighting. The Germans defended every inch. One of the cool things I really did like this aspect of the book was that James Holland used diaries from both the Allied soldiers, whether American or British, Canadian, and as well German soldiers who were fighting on the campaigns. And so you could actually follow soldiers through their diary through those 3 months of campaigns, or campaigning, I should say, on both sides, and their thoughts and feelings. And like one of the people they covered was Farley Mowat, actually. And if all Canadians know Farley Mowat, but there there was a good chance that he wouldn't have survived this because he had some near misses and was sort of involved some pretty serious conflict. So it was cool to see parts of his diary and hear about his experiences with fighting in a Canadian regiment in the British-led by Montgomery side of things. So Savage Storm, really like this. This was a fantastic book, and if you're interested in World War II or the history of Italy or that kind of thing, then I think you'd like it. I think you'd get a lot out of it. So it was a really good one. So the next one I'm going to talk about is kind of different, kind of out there, but I wanted to bring it up because it's kind of neat. This one's called Hiking Through History, and this is by Kirk Ward Robinson. And you wouldn't have seen this in a book haul video from me because this is the first book that I have ever been sent by a publisher, and I was asked to review it. I was surprised, probably as surprised as you are right now. And I kind of said, hey, are you sure? Maybe not. I'm living in Canada and maybe not so big. But they're like, yeah, no. And so they sent it to me and I read it. It's called Hiking Through History, as I mentioned, and the subtitle is Hannibal, Highlanders, and Joan of Arc. So basically the author is a travel writer, biking, hiking, all that kind of thing. And what he was doing was tracing the footsteps of various historical people. Hannibal, for example, he went from Spain hiking and biking and busing in through the mountains, across the mountains into Spain, from Spain into Italy, and then traveling to the major battle sites that occurred during Hannibal's campaign in Italy. And so it switches back and forth between his experiences actually hiking or biking or whatever, and then the history of the place where he's kind of like at that time. I found it enjoyable. I think if you're the kind of person that loves travel and history combined, like you go to you walk down a back alley that you think that Julius Caesar walked down, and you're like, oh my god, squealing, then this might be something that you might be interested in. So check it out if that sounds like it might float your boat. Anyway, it was fun to get a book to review. It was fun to read, and actually, I'll openly admit that I hope one of the things that I would actually rather get books than get money from YouTube. So that's something that hopefully happens again. Maybe it never will, but we'll see. Moving on then, the next book that I read, the last book that I'm going to cover today, not a history book, but kind of cool. It's called Age of Ambition, Chasing Fortune, Truth, and Faith in the New China. This is by Evan Osnos, who was a journalist that lived in China for a significant period of time, and then he wrote the book about his experiences there. This is a little bit older now too. This is 2015, I think, published. So we're looking at the start of Xi's time as leader of the Communist Party. So maybe not as current as it could be, but I still think this will provide a ton of insight into sort of where China is right now, not from a sort of high level perspective, but maybe from a personal perspective, because this is all anecdotes basically. So just people that he met, acquaintances, friends, people he became friendly with. We're talking like a blind lawyer from the countryside, sort of a English language entrepreneur, like a journalistic kind of CEO type, a whole range of different people, like a street cleaner that did poetry on the side, just like a broad, diverse set of people who are all sort of struggling to, I don't know, just to fit in a new China. Like, what is China? Is it a free, democratic, trending country, or free only in the sense of the market, but politically never to be free? What role does religion have now that Maoism is sort of on its way out? What about traditional culture? What about nationalism? Like all these issues that are sort of being navigated by all these individuals that are also trying to sort of be successful after so many decades of like essentially horror and poverty and like all the bad of Maoism and Marxism. So I thought it was a really interesting book. I really enjoyed it. I know that I say that I enjoy books all the time, but to be fair, I'm pretty good at selecting books that I think I'm going to like, and maybe that's a problem, but I liked it. So it was a good book. So those were my the last four reads that I'm going to talk about today. Hope you got something out of this one. Let me know. Would love to hear in the comments the best book that you read in the last month or so. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm going to wrap this up now. I really appreciate you spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, and I'll see you soon.